How's it going, everyone? Derek from Make Media Studios, and this week's podcast is with Isaac Arias. He is a local cinematographer and photographer here based in Morgan Hill, where I'm at, and he mostly does a lot of car and auto videography and photography. How's it going?
Good. How about you? How are you doing today?
Doing all right. I hit you up, man, because I'm always seeing your content, and I'm really enjoying it. I mean, your photography and your videos are looking really good, man.
Thank you.
What have you been? What projects you working on recently? What you doing?
Well, since all the virus stuff happened, it slowed me down. I was supposed to be shooting in Miami for Rolling Loud, so I was supposed to be covering a lot of headliners like Travis Scott and stuff.
Oh wow! Because you do a lot of concert.
May. Yeah, I just got into that September of last year. I got into it. It's a funny story of how I got into it.
How'd you get into it? Because I know you were shooting there in Oakland. I saw some of the stuff you were doing.
Yeah.
It was Oakland, right?
So pretty much, I really wanted to shoot one of their concerts, and there was always I was seeing young guys in their 20s shooting for them, and I was like, okay, what the heck? How do we do this? I saw some guys that shoot music videos out here getting in they were getting in for doing what were they doing? They were doing photography. They were just camera up, making their own little edits out of the sets that the artists were doing. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering how they did it. So what I did is I went in one of their videos, an after movie that they made for what was it? For Miami show, because they're all around the world now. And I was who's a part of this? And then it's funny because in the car scene, I watched a lot of certain YouTubers and stuff that were they always caught my eye, and I love their style of film and all that.
And you saw them.
And I saw one of them. And his name was Mike Cosio, and I was like, whoa, what? No way. He shoots usually just cars, but I didn't know he shot concerts and all that stuff. So I was like, oh dang. So I tried getting a hold of a ton of people, production company, people that were in the lines of Rolling Loud or that had covered it. And I was like, who did you guys talk to, or who can I talk to if I'm, I told him my story, what I do and all that. And it was so funny because one guy, he's it was a company he had told me he made these sculptures that they put all around Rolling Loud, all over the floor. And there's because they have all these art things going on, and then they have
Where's Rolling Loud? What is that? I don't know actually what that is.
It's a concert. That's a concert company. They put on it's a concert company, and they put on the biggest rap festivals in the world. So it's crazy. They're really big, and they just started they started from the bottom in Miami, I heard, and they were just starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And now they have all of the latest rappers and all that in one spot. So you can go watch whoever is your favorite at that time, and it's from 12 to 12 at 10
it's
10
a
or
full
11
day
at night.
It's its own festival all on its own.
Yeah, all day, and it's 3 stages. There's never a time throughout the day where it's just it's not just dead. It's so cool. So I had always wanted to be a part of it. And then the day of Oakland Rolling Loud, I got a call in the morning, and it was a guy, and he's like, hey, your name Isaac? And at the time, I only had I had an A7S and a kit lens back. I was like, oh no, oh shoot, there's no way. I was like, yeah, that's me. And they were like, one of our guys is sick. Could you cover him? And I was like, what is it for? And they said he worked in for the company that did the sculptures all over Rolling Loud. If you can get some clips of those and then do some of the festival. And I was like, oh, dang, maybe. And in my head, I'm like, oh, shoot, maybe I can get in and probably talk to way more people like that. So I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. So I had some friends that lived here in Morgan Hill, and they're like, we're going to go. Do you want to ride? And I was like, heck yeah, that'd be great. So then at that time, I wasn't thinking about everything else, gear-wise and everything. I was just like, oh, shoot, I'm going. I'm just going to take what I got.
Right.
I just had the body, a kit lens, and 128 gigabyte card in my laptop. And I went and bought a 2 terabyte hard drive.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know how much footage I'm gonna be able to get. I'm gonna have to keep dumping.
Right.
And I was like, whatever, let's do it. So I just went, and that's how I got in my first one. I was so inexperienced because I came into that scene with just that setup, and I'm walking around guys with just Reds and all that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is okay. So I borrowed a Ronin S at the time.
Okay.
And I was like, let's just rock this. So I was getting shots like that, and I just, you do all the footage for them, and you get it to them. and I previewed some of it to them, and they were like, "Oh, this is great," you know. And then I was talking to more people in the media tent, and they're like, let's stay in contact. You know, we love your work. And I was like, all right, because I told them at the time, I was like, I can rent stuff if I'm gonna be doing this. Like, I was all scared, you know, because I was like, oh no, like
I got called this morning. I didn't have any of the equipment rented. All that stuff.
Seriously. And I never rented equipment either. Like at that time, because I was never like put against in a scene where everything's like so like high. You know, you have to be on your point. Yeah, on point. Right. Yeah.
Well, so I mean, that's just proves that networking. You know, you just met people and saying yes to everything. That's what I tell a lot of people when they're first starting out. Like, you want to just say yes to every gig you can. Don't worry about if your equipment wasn't up to par that these other guys had. You just said yes. And you went and you did it the best you could do, and they liked it. And as long as they see that like motivation behind you, they're gonna call you back. You know, it's all about getting along with the people too. Like, if you're there and you can get along with people, like you can conversate well and meet people and talk with people. So that works in your favor.
Yeah, I was talking to I started because they were like, we need help with. Some guys were in there, and some of them were like, hey, could you help me with this and that? And I was like, yeah. And then, I was like either holding a camera while they're building a rig and stuff like that.
Right.
And I kind of got my knowledge in there as well. Like, I tried learning as much. That's when I started really soaking up like cinema setups and all that. Because I was like, what does that do? What's that for? All this and that. Learning lenses, what they do. Like, it just really came to me like, you need to know about this stuff if this is what you want to get into, to be to be above what the standard is anymore, because no one wants just the standard.
I met you a little bit before that then, when I met you.
Yeah, you met me when I had, I think, the A7S, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I had an A, I don't know.
I had the A7S2 and I was selling it. No, it was an R2.
I bought one.
It
was an R2 because I had an A7S and I wanted an A7R2, that's why.
Yeah, and then you got the S2.
Around. Yeah.
The S2 is a great camera. See, if I would have had an S2, I probably would have stayed with it. But the R2 is just, but that's funny.
It was a mixed hybrid. Yeah, that was a killer camera. I had it for a little while and I was loving it.
But it's a funny story here. I'm going to tell my story now, how I met you, right? Because I think it was hilarious. I was trying to sell my camera, right? I put it online, and I think you probably found it on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. And I was in Morgan Hill, and you hit me up, and I was expecting to sell my camera that day. I went over there with my camera as well, but you just wanted to see it, and I was just impressed that you got me there to talk about my camera, and you'd never seen one, and got to play with it, and you were checking it out, and I thought that was really cool. And when we talked, and you added me on Instagram, and I started following what you were doing. And yeah, man, it's just a funny story how it just kind of.
You saw when I first started, yeah.
Yeah, when you first started, but dude, you're doing a lot of stuff now.
Well, now it's like I'm like learning like everything. Like, I've been pushing like with just friends and stuff. Like, I had friends that have like dirt bikes and stuff, and I was like, yo, let me put like, because after Los Angeles, I was seeing a lot of Blackmagic pocket cinema cameras.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, like, I was talking to the owners. I was like, how is that thing? Like, I was looking it up while I was there at the festivals because I was seeing it so much.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, these specs are crazy, And I was like, that looks like a killer setup, dude. Like, how is it? And they're like, this is amazing. Like, if you can't go and like drop all that money on like a Red or anything, like bigger setups, then get a Blackmagic and go from there. And I was like,
because it's got RAW. Right, you can shoot in RAW.
Yeah, you could change ISOs in post.
Wow, and then and then did you get that's what you have right there? Is that what you?
So I picked up the Blackmagic, the 4K, and then I just rigged it out with like the 12 to 35, and then the Atmos monitor and V-mount battery, just like your. Yeah, it's just all around. It's like it holds 1 terabyte, and then they're like T5s, they're $150, like that's killer. So. Started running stuff like that, and the minute I tried one of my friends first, and once I saw it on the screen, like the film look out of it, I was like, oh my gosh, like what the heck, I want to get on that. Like, I was looking at my Sony at the time, and I was like, no way, like I can't even get that close, Right. People are like, you can run monitors and just get it, you can get that 12-bit, you get that 12-bit, 10-bit, yeah. So these are 12, I think. Yeah, 12.
Yeah, I think so.
And I was like, that's the closest I think I can get in the price range I'm at, to getting a cinema camera. And I was like, that looks amazing. Like, just like when you put it up to like clouds, like you could just see the colors and like the way the depth. It's just insane.
You can drop you can drop those highlights and you get that dynamic range.
You get like a weird 3D like effect out of the image. It's just so crazy. Like,
yeah, you get the high dynamic range. So you can see a lot of the things in the shadows and you can see a lot of things in the highlights, and you can pull all that data back in post.
Oh, I was new to all that. So when I was barely learning all that, and I was like, why does this look so good? You know, I was like tripping out. And so I watched all kinds of videos and I was like, that's the one for me. I think I'm going to just go for that one. So I sold all my Sony equipment, my gimbal, everything I had at the time.
You had the Ronin. You got rid of that?
Yeah. I sold everything at the time, and I was like, I need everything new. Like, it just like, it like made me open. It just made me like realize what I wanted to do and what I needed the most. And I even got in contact with my friend Mike, the one who I saw that worked for I got a little bit closer to him, like ever since LA. We talked a lot, you know, while we were over there. And he explained to me like what I should do and what do I like to do, what's the purpose of the rig and stuff, and really just like told me what I needed, you know. So I just went from there and got everything built up, and now you're seeing the work you're liking is what I've been wanting to do this whole time, and I just couldn't do it because I just never really had the right stuff I feel like I needed now. But I got there. That's good.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, it took a little bit of time, but you pushed yourself to get to that equipment. I mean, sometimes you need that little extra. I mean, that Blackmagic is something I've definitely looked into. I think it's a pretty cool camera. Have you seen, being that it's a micro 4/3 sensor, because you have the 4K, how's the bokeh? Like, do you get a good amount of blur with someone? When
I rock this Lumix 12 to 35 4/3, if you're punched in the 35, it's beautiful. It's
really
nice. I love it.
How's
and
the
it's
low
weird
light?
for me because I don't.
Is it good with low light?
Low light, I haven't really like pushed it in the, at night and stuff.
Because you're using it mostly during the day.
Yeah, and evenings and stuff. But like the way it handles high noise, like I put it up quite a bit at night. Even when you're like pushing it, it's not that bad. It hides it so good. Like I've done that a lot, like during sunset, and I don't know. I love
what are you pushing the ISO to? Like 3200, 16?
Sometimes I go higher. Yeah, probably about 16. I think.
Yeah, 16.
Let me see. Yeah, I think I've done 16.
I do that with my Sony. The A7 III is really good with low light. That's one thing I really like about the Sony. Even though I understand that cinematic look with the RAW is really nice. I get those low light opportunities with my A7 III a lot. But I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure out which direction I'm gonna go cinematic wise, because I do like the Sony stuff. I really do. The Blackmagics look really cool.
Yeah, when it comes to the like the car stuff, when we want to get like rollers and stuff, I really wish I had my A7S back.
Yeah.
Cause I have to rig up a full-on follow focus to this. You don't get autofocus on these.
Right.
It's something I had to get used to, but now I'm like loving it because how much more like creative I can get with it. It's
absolutely.
Sweet. Yeah.
And if you get a follow focus on there, and you got I mean, if you had the right situation and you were at a point where you can have a follow for like a first AC. And there's an actual person wirelessly doing your focus for you.
So
that's great.
So just yesterday, I actually did that.
Yeah.
I shot. I've been doing like my friend's Lamborghini. He has a Huracan, and we're trying to get more rolling shots done. So I'm actually going again on Tuesday to finish this shoot off. But we've been using the Tilta Nucleus Nano.
Yeah, those are good.
I've been running like a 25-foot HDMI because we haven't got the wireless
setup. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're gonna do that, but not yet.
And he's got your monitor. Are you just you take your monitor off of your camera and then he's running the monitor with the Nucleus?
So I set up the settings on the camera. You know, like right there, like on the camera, because I have the whole car mount set up. Yeah. And we're doing the whole shock arm, like the arm.
Yeah.
Where the camera hangs on it. So we're doing that, but not yet. We just have a shock absorbing plate on there. Okay. And then we just put the gimbal on top of that, and underneath all that is a car suction mount, a 3-point with the security straps holding it down. So then we run that long HDMI from the camera, a super long one, so it doesn't, like there's a lot of the whole camera can move, you got to give it a lot of free space so it's not pulling. And then we run it inside the car to the screen. And then I made this little controller out of a whole ton of rig parts so I can hold, so that, not me, but my friend Hunter can hold the screen and have the focusing right there, the Tilta. not the tilt. Is it tilt?
Yeah, it's
the
a tilter.
Nucleus Nano.
Yeah, it's a tilter. Yep, you're
So
right.
he does that while I have my phone and I look at the screen and I can move my phone and the gimbal moves with my phone. He just picked up the Crane 3S Pro.
Yeah, that thing's awesome.
So we just started using that. So I'm gonna start like showing a lot of
you're
what that
using
thing
your
can do.
phone to wirelessly move it. So however you move the
I
phone,
can move the phone, it moves the gimbal.
that's
So
crazy.
I just look at the screen now and then I go from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
And dude,
It also has a rotation.
I've never mounted a camera to a car. How is that?
Yeah.
I mean, how is that 3-point
It's
suction?
terrifying.
It's terrifying.
It's always my camera going on that car because I'm always like the one that's like I don't like just go for it. I want those shots. Like I put my camera out windows. If you've seen that dirt bike short I did, so I do I just go like crazy with it.
The camera is a tool, and a lot of people that get scared to put their camera in situations that not get the shot. I'm always been that one that's been like, no, you gotta. It's a tool to get the shots. You have to put it in those situations that are risky.
Yeah.
But as long as you have the safety devices, you said you have a safety strapped to the car, right? And the
I did 2 of them. Yeah.
2 of them. So is that
2 of them, then suction mounts on top of that.
you doing this on the hood of the car?
So you could do it on the hood, or you could do it like on the trunk if the trunk's big enough of a car.
Okay.
And then pretty soon it really does. It's not going to matter because once we have that arm, it's going to hang off of the vehicle, drop down, and then we're good. We're going to be running the wireless video, and then the video feed straight to the screen, which is going to connect. And then I want to do the Cine 7. Have you seen that? The small HD. It's a big.
Yep.
So I'm gonna get that. That's one I plan on getting because that thing's fat.
It's cool.
So once I do that and then run the wireless feed and then have I'm gonna try and see if I can get the Nucleus. I think it's the M, where it's 2 handles, and then mount it on each side of the screen, so you could just do it that way.
Right, and then you could do your focus, you can do your zoom.
And you could do
Right, if you have a zoom lens, and you can put both those on there. Yeah, I've used the Nucleuses myself with the Reds. That's what I've used those before.
Yeah.
I want to set one of those up, whatever my next rig is. I'm a little addicted to autofocus. Most cinematographers love manual focus, and I do, but I don't have another person with me usually that can pull focus for me, and I don't have those tools. So like with my Sony a7 III, with like the acting stuff that I'm doing, I just found the ability to make, because I record through a Atmos 5 recorder, right? So I have an external recorder. I'm using the Atmos, like you have the Shogun, I think, right?
No, right now we just have the Shinobi, the little Shinobi.
Right, so it's just a monitor, right?
And then the Ninja V.
Yeah, so I have the Ninja V, and so I'm getting that 10-bit color outside of the a7 III through that.
Yeah.
And then
And that's great for your camera, yeah.
But what's great is I get that face tracking. If you're in 4K and you're not recording internally into the a7 III, you get face tracking. So it tracks faces. So I can, when I do interviews now, when I'm doing this shot right now, it's all on autofocus with face track. So that's pretty cool. And like the FX9, which is what I'm really interested in, that has some incredible autofocus. Now, I don't want to always be reliable on just autofocus. I want to have the manual focus set up eventually with the Nucleus and all that to be able to go that way. Because then you have more control and those artsy things like you're talking about.
Yeah, all those like crazier shots. Like now, like when I go back and do another concert, I'll probably rock this setup with the 24-70, and I'm not running no like follow focus. I'm just by hand. I love by hand now.
Yeah.
Like I love that with the little focus, the little gear that can go on it. Yeah, I love that setup. That setup's sweet. I've seen guys running the Reds like that out there, because you could run the most minimalist setup with just a handle, the screen, and then just the camera and your lens. So
yep, and it's nice. You got control. Yeah, I want that little focus wheel on the side. If you have that focus wheel, you're all good. My problem is
that one's
Well, one of my lenses, I have the Tamron 28 to 75. That's the lens I'm rocking. I use the most. The problem is the focus wheel is like an infinity focus wheel where it continues.
That's how
to
these
spin.
are.
Yeah. So it's kind of unreliable sometimes. You can't pull that well, right? You can't. If you go to a certain spot too fast or too slow, it changes how quick or slow it focuses. That's why I want to get some prime lenses.
I'm always on this lens. Like, I learned this lens. I feel like I've adapted to this lens, and it's an infinity. So I know, like, if I'm at a certain type of like distance with someone, I can already know how like far to go back pretty good just off of like muscle memory of where to go. So I've learned and I've adapted to it. So I feel pretty comfortable with it. Like I could do run and gun stuff, just like handheld stuff. I feel fine,
Yeah, I would love to get a. I would love to get a lens.
Sony.
I would love to get a lens that doesn't. The focus wheel stops. It has hard
Yeah.
stops, because if it has hard
When
stops, then it's
yeah.
repeatable better.
Yeah. What I usually do too is if I don't mind having a bit of a zoomed in image, or if I really want that, I'll rock a Canon 24-70, the f2.8.
Yeah.
And I think those stop. I know the 1635 does for sure. I can't remember if the 24-70 stops, but
I think it does. If it's a Canon lens, I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah. And that's a great lens. And you have it on a micro four thirds, so yeah, you are punched in a little bit. But I mean, at a concert, that gives you that, almost like 100 mil distance to look at, and then you're probably
They're
at
pretty,
like a 50.
Yeah, unless you really want to be like on the stage and get the whole crowd and like your artist in frame, then I'd say like what we have to, because we have to run the 12-35, because that's like the 16-35, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm assuming that's why they did that.
Yeah.
But if I really don't mind like the punched in image, and if I'm in like the pits or something and I want to get those facial shots, slow-mo or something, then 24-70 and a side shot, get crowd stuff. Like, I have a friend that jumps in the crowds with his the Scarlet, and he's over there with the whole he has I forgot their called, I think it's called like a shark fin, or it's something like that, where it's like these dual batteries. It looks fat on the red.
Right.
He has to hold it like this, and he's getting shots of like the crowd in the mosh pit.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of weight.
Like, dang.
He
jumps fences with it too. He's crazy. I was like, whoa. So
I wanted to ask you how you met like a lot of these people, because with your car stuff, at least. I mean, some people out there are probably interested in getting into that automobile world of filmmaking and photography. How did you start meeting these people?
I started covering car shows in Santana Row. We're right there in Santa Clara. Yep. So I was shooting cars down there, like the high-end cars back then. And I didn't even know how to shoot them. Honestly, I would just roll up with the little like Zion crane, I think.
Okay.
And I was just like getting shots and photos. Yeah. And I would show it to the owners and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, these are great!" Like they would love them.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I was like, "All right, yeah, thank you." So I was all happy because of that. But I just kept doing that. I kept shooting friends' cars. I kept shooting short little film stuff like of my friends. I would always have a camera in my hand, whether it be my phone or a little Canon T3i back in the day when I was in high school. And I used to shoot. I also used to shoot for school, like football and stuff. Yeah. And there was a lot of guys who had cars, so I was like, "Would you guys want some photos or something?" And they would always say, "Yeah," because no one out here, I feel like, was just like, they weren't doing it at the time. It wasn't like a I don't know. I just wasn't seeing it a lot. So I started doing it, and then, I don't know, I've seen a lot more people start doing cars, like shooting cars, like recently. It shot up. Like, there's a lot of videographers and photographers now. But that's honestly like how I kept, gaining my connections more and more and more. Like, friends had friends and friends had friends, That's just how it went, and that's kind of how I did it with that and with everything else. And then obviously as gear and as I watched more people, my mind got bigger on what I want to do and how I want to shoot stuff, what I need, how you can't just do a run and gun at whatever location and make it look cool. You got to plan a location. You have to plan the certain type of day for day, like the sunlight, how do you want it? And then your camera settings, and learn your camera to the max potential before you get another camera, So that's kind of how I got up there more and more and more. Yeah.
Our internet is jumping out right here. Can you see me?
Is it? I can see you.
Yeah. I'm waiting for it. Yeah. It's picking back up. We're a little pixelated, but anyways, no, I can hear you though, so it's fine. What were your? Where did you? So you're learning all this stuff. You said you met some people on those concert sets that taught you a lot with their cameras. You met them, but before that, were you using like YouTube, or how are you learning your? I'm
all self-taught, yeah. So YouTube was all I ever used. Like back when I had the Sonys and everything, I was learning how to do it's funny, but I was learning ISOs, what not to do in certain situations, apertures, like what lenses are great for what, certain type of shots I want, how much bokeh do you want.
Right.
What else? Shutter speeds, like all the basic stuff I kind of learned off YouTube and stuff. And then as I got more and more into the tools, like the gimbals and stuff, what are great ways to hold it? What are great ways to walk with them?
Right.
Like all that.
Different cinematic angles to get with your gimbal, stuff like that.
Like now, with that new gimbal that came out, that crane
Yeah.
What is it? The Crane 3S, that thing. I love POV mode. That is my favorite.
Yeah.
So POV mode, basically, it's like you move, and however you move the gimbal, the whole camera will move like a glide cam.
Right.
And if you go up and down, you could do a wave, and you can also turn it. So it's like it's like having a straight up glide cam on you.
Right.
So that's I plan on doing a lot more stuff like soon, actually, but just waiting for the virus to.
I've talked about this on my podcast before, and one of my big things, I want to get that crane, and then you put that crane on a glide cam.
Yeah, we're waiting to get the we got the whole like chest part for it with the little arm and everything. So and it has the handle on the side too to walk with it. Right. So I'm trying to do all that too, because I want to do more like films with more dialogue and scripts. I have a whole short film coming out. I want to do not like a short film, but I want to do like a couple episodes of something soon. I'll talk to you about that soon.
All right,
but
buddy. All right.
I already have
I need to get you out to one of these. So I'm not sure. I have to send you the link. So Giggly Dickens is the group that I film for, and we do shorts and stuff like that. And they're based out of Hollister. We just filmed the last 2 days down in Big Sur. We do like a Jurassic Park thing. It's like our second episode of it. But I'll have to get you on set with me. I would love it if you want to come along for one of the shoots, and maybe we even film it with your Blackmagic, and just to test it out and see how it is. It'd be a cool like experience, so I can see how that camera performs in that cinematic world that I'm doing with my friends.
Oh yeah, yeah, we'll have to do that. I'm down.
Yeah, cool. Let's see here. You give some tips to people out there that are, just starting out, and where you were a couple years ago when you were still in high school and you were just starting out. What do you want to tell them when it comes to getting into this creative world?
So I'll start I'll start with photography and then get into videography. With photography, I kind of started with the basics. Your basic shutter speed chart, ISO chart. You ever seen those?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where it shows
your triangle.
Yeah, pretty much. So I got into those. Triangle. Yeah, so I learned those, and then I actually got that idea from a photo teacher at Sobrato. He told me, he's like, if you want to get into like photography at that next, like that higher level, you got to learn like the basics first and then go from there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right. So I learned that, and then I also learned at the time I was trying to learn film and stuff. So I couldn't fully get into it, but like I want to learn that more film, like getting into film, because my buddy that I told you earlier, Mike Cosio, he has a I don't know if you ever seen a Canon 310 XL. They're like they're old film cameras. So those original film looks you get with all the burns, and it's actually like flipping through. That he uses that in the concerts and stuff too. So it is crazy. Sweet. He has all that on, like all that at the same time while he's shooting.
You definitely have to know your exposure and your shutter and your ISO. You got to know
those
all
are hit and
basics.
miss cameras. It's crazy. I've never that's the old way of doing it. So it's pretty cool. I saw that in the works too, and I was like, whoa. So I learned that, and then I'm trying to remember. Shoot, it's been a while. After that, I kept just testing it, like just practicing at all the sports events and everything that the school was having, rallies, all that. That's all I was doing, messing around with friends, like learning lighting and all that. So we would always do photo shoots and stuff, or while we're just messing around, I would always just mess around with friends with the camera in their face all the time. That's what
practice.
Yeah,
always keep
I
learning.
lived off
That's
of just practicing. Yeah, that's all you got to do, and then you can learn your own styles once you get into like Adobe and get your suit going, like your Lightroom and stuff. You can start doing stuff like that, because that's basically how I did it when I started learning split. I think it's split tuning, or it's
split tone.
Split tone, yeah. So
yep.
See, I don't even remember. I don't even remember like the little names of each little like slider. I just know what I have to go to now. Like that's literally where I'm at. Like I go in and it's just like memory to me now of what I want to do, and I just go through it. Yeah.
Right. And then you went into videography. So you're saying tell people to maybe learn photography first.
Yeah, because you want to learn your camera and what it could do, and then you'll have an understanding of what your settings are going to be like, for other jobs. Right. So when you pull out, like go into video mode, you'll know about your exposures, your apertures, like your aperture, your ISO, and your shutter, because you have to learn about all that to get into video. So yeah, that's that's what I got to say for that. Just practice and learn your camera, whatever you choose. Invest into like a good camera if you want like a certain type of quality out of it. Just pick your weapon. Pretty much. That's what I always say. For videography, it's pretty much the same thing, but it depends. What do you want to shoot? Like what are you gonna shoot? Are you gonna just shoot stuff like what do you like? You usually shoot like films and stuff, so you see a lot of different gear and
everything from like being like my money making side of the house. For me, I do corporate, right? I do a lot of corporate videos. I'm working with like tech companies, stuff like that.
So you got
CEOs.
The lighting going, the stands, microphones.
Yep.
All that good stuff. See, I need to get in. I love that. That's dope.
Yeah. But I mean, you're doing more artsy.
I go solo, one man sometimes. Just running gun stuff, messing around with my friends.
In a way, it's like a B-roll story.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I love getting those crazy. Like, I want to pull you into each one of my films, like more and more with how I shoot things, crazier angles. Just I like to keep the mind going. I want to just keep you like keep watching what I'm putting out. I don't like those just like whatever little shots, like I don't know. I want to change it up like seriously, because that's what pulls in more and more people, So, for video, it depends. I don't know. I kind of I blinked out for a second.
You're good. I mean, yeah, you're right. You need to know what you want to shoot. You're a car enthusiast, right? You enjoy vehicles.
I love
cars.
automotive stuff. Yeah, I got Nissan reposts.
So for you, it makes sense, right? That's what you film. You film car stuff. So in a way, find something that you enjoy that you want to document, right? If you have friends that make, I have friends that make narrative work, and we film that and have fun making little YouTube shorts. I also film corporate stuff because I needed to pay the bills, and I met people that wanted me to do that. So I guess just find your niche.
Yeah. You found yours.
I tried. I'm trying. Hey, man, it was really nice talking to you today.
Yeah.
All right. I want to see more of what you're doing. I want to get you on a shoot with me so we can all, film together sometime. That'd be great. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Yep.
We're going to plug your stuff. Everything's going to be down in the link below, so people can check out your productions, because I know you have your personal Instagram, and then you have
photo
your productions.
One, and then I have the YouTube. Yeah, the YouTube's where I kind of like put all the films in the full quality so everyone could see it on bigger screens. Instead of the small.
And then so people can follow you, check out what you're doing, and I guess that's it. We're gonna say goodbye. Thank you very much, Isaac.
Thank you. Yep. You have a great day.
All right, man. This is another podcast. Out.